Greetings and welcome. My name is Ryan O'Rourke and I hope you enjoy. If you have any questions along the way, please feel free to send me a message here on YouTube or on my Facebook page. I'd be more than happy to help out. Today we are going to paint a nice early morning sunrise over the lake. Now I'm going to begin with the sky, and you'll notice the top of the sky, I'm making it fairly gray. It's blue, but there's also a lot of white and black in there. And the idea here is to desaturate it, because we want the sun coming up to be our main focus. And to achieve that, we need it to be the brightest and most prominent thing, meaning we have to kind of tone down everything else. And an easy way to tone down the blue is to desaturate it with a mixture of grays. Now, as we go from the top to the bottom, we're getting a little bit brighter, but I'm also incorporating areas I want there to be clouds. And I'm making the clouds in this very subtle. It's the morning, nothing has a heavy contrast yet. It's all very light. And so I'm putting down a little layer of darkish gray, not even darkish gray, more of a lightish gray. And then I'm adding a little bit of white on the bottom of it. And then I'm moving it horizontally back and forth. And that's going to complete a number of small clouds. We are going to come back up to this with another color. But while we wait for that to dry, I'm putting in the trees. And I'm doing this in a lot of vertical strokes. I'm making sure that the levels are very different, and I'm using the side of a very sharp brush. I'm also using a gray and not a black, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But right now, I'm adding highlights to the tops of the trees with a very small brush. I'm doing this with a tapping motion, but I'm trying to create a lot of little bumps, and I'm connecting them together. The idea is that the side that is facing the sky is going to be very sharp, and then it's going to blend off into a green in the tree area. However, I'm leaving a lot of the trees in a very gray look. Now here, as we get closer, I'm adding a little bit more of a vibrant green, and again we're working in vertical strokes, and one side of the tree, the side of the tree that is going to have the light hitting it, is going to have a lot of white on it. Now, you'll notice that the landmass in the back, it has a lot of gray in it, and the one in the forefront, it has more of a black. That's because as things get closer, the contrast will get higher. And so you want to ensure that everything very far away kind of has more of a light color. And there you saw I added the black, and I did that just to show you that it doesn't look natural, it doesn't look right. We took out a lot of depth by doing that and having black in both the front and the back. So you need to pick one, and I will go back and I'll fix that as soon as it dries a little bit. Now here I'm just putting in a bit of water. I'm starting the lake, and I'm starting that with the same color as the sky. I'm doing this in horizontal strokes. And remember that the ground is simply a reflection, or the water is simply a reflection of the sky. So I used the same colors. Again, I tried to mute it to make sure that it wasn't popping too much, that it wouldn't take away from the sun that we're going to incorporate in later. And right now you can just see that I'm going back and I'm toning down everything and kind of reworking some of the trees. I didn't want them to be too stark. They are closer to us, they are going to be more sharp. However, they are still a distance away, and we do want them to still have almost a blurred effect. Now here, initially I thought of putting in various lily pads. So I'm blocking those in, but in the end I did decide to take them out. But the idea here was simply to put down a fairly muted green, and then with a small brush and a little bit of black, I'm kind of blocking in different shapes. But again, I decided to take this out. And that's important to do in your paintings. You can go in with a plan and an idea, but sometimes it won't really work the way you thought it would or the way you want. And you can push through that and you can work through it, but you can also adapt and try various things. You can try different things. So here I thought, you know what, maybe I'll try some grass. And then I decided, you know what, maybe I want some more water. So I blended that grass back into the water, and that was great because it actually added a green tint to the water. And the water isn't only going to be a blue from the sky, but it's also going to have a lot of green from the trees around it and whatever vegetation is living within it. So that's also important to remember, that water reflects not only the sky, but all that surrounds it. And so here I decided to go with some bushes, kind of a tree effect, and I did that in a tapping motion with a fairly wide brush. Now I'm going back to where I want my sun, and I'm brightening all of that area, and then I'm adding a little bit of a yellow. Now I put the white down first, so when I put the yellow over the blue, it wouldn't turn into a green. We needed that white to make sure that the yellow would stay consistent. From there, I'm adding an orange, and I'm blending that up into the blue. I needed to make sure that I had the orange down and not a yellow down, so again it didn't mix into a green, and from there we can add the yellow on top of the orange. I'm also blurring out that back area. For the water, I did that in horizontal strokes. Again, we're working with reflections, so it's going to be brightest where the sun is, and then it's going to get darker and return to a blue as it goes out in accordance to the sky. And again, we're using a very small brush, we're using horizontal strokes, and we're ensuring that the sun is the brightest area. It pops out the most. It is sharp in the foreground, but at the same time, your main focus is on the sun. Thank you so much for watching. I truly hope you enjoyed. And again, if you have any questions, if you got stuck along the way, please feel free to leave me a comment or send me a message on my Facebook page. Also, if you just want to share your work with me and get a little critique out of it, please feel free to send it to my Facebook. I'd be more than happy to look at it with you and talk about your work, and I'd love to see it as well. If you want more of an immediate response or you'd like to share a picture of your work, please feel free to add me on Facebook. I have a link in the description of this video, and you can add me there, ask me questions, and I'd be incredibly happy to help you and walk you through whatever you are working on. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, if you've enjoyed this tutorial, A, I'm very happy. B, please hit that like button and the subscribe button. It really does help me grow this little art community, and I'd be incredibly appreciative if you did. I'm going to release videos weekly, and I just hope you have a wonderful day. So take care, and again, thank you for watching.